The playoff picture is taking shape, the Chiefs and Rams are moving locations, and Lev Bell doesn't have a home right now. I got this NFL update for you coming right now. This is first in a new set of videos that I'm going to do on NFL updates. It's going to be a little bit more across the league. I've been hinting at it most of the season. If you're new here and you haven't watched any of my Chiefs videos, I run a channel based on the NFL and the AFC West, and the Chiefs do a lot of Chiefs content. But this is going to be more about the league. And if you like what you're seeing, leave me a thumbs up, hit that subscription and the little notification so you know when a new video goes up. I'm going to talk real quickly about the league in general, and the playoff picture is where we're starting because it's starting to take shape. With a couple of changes this last weekend, with the Patriots falling out of the top 2 seeds and look like at this point in the season they may not even get a bye going into the postseason. The Steelers slipped into that number 2 seed behind the Chiefs in the AFC, and that's a really interesting matchup. The Chiefs hold the tiebreak over a number of them, and it's going to come down to the wire. We still have a lot of games to play, but early looks like New England may be traveling. On the opposite side, there's a lot of key players that are fighting to try and catch up with the Saints. The Saints are clearly out in front, and it looks like there's still a lot of jockeying to be done. We're going to keep a close eye on that as the season winds down. My money's still on Drew Brees, but that's just the way it goes. Big news this week. The Chiefs and Rams were set to go to Mexico City and play on that field down there that is obviously not maintained by the NFL. And a lot of consternation went into this decision going into this game. And it turns out, as we've heard more and more about the process, that there were concerns raised a few weeks ago. Back on October 11th, evidently there was a giant concert that really tore that field up. And because of the schedule and how many events they've had going through that stadium, it's been really hard for them to get the grass to regrow. Also complicating the matter is the fact that they have switched the field surface this season, and it's a hybrid. It's not just straight grass where you can pull all the side and replace it with fresh, try to get that to take a little bit of root before you put another football team on it. So that complicated the matter as well. And I have to say, in my commentary on the NFL, I was real skeptical that they were going to get to the decision to leave that particular stadium because of the way that they are so set on expanding the NFL internationally, and this is one of very few games that happen outside the United States, and I thought that they would put that preference ahead of player safety, but it turns out I was wrong. Turns out consulting with both the stadium heads that manage that field and that facility, as well as some of the NFL heads, representatives of both teams, as well as the NFL field conditions, they all came to the same conclusion that this is not a field that you want to put NFL athletes on. It's especially these two teams being two of the top 3 teams in this league in what is a normal sport activity that can lead to injury. You don't want to put them in a more precarious position by putting them on a surface that stresses their joints or could lead to serious injury. So I think the NFLPA was also involved supposedly because the players had some concerns on both sides, and I think using that as a way to bring all these parties together, I thought was a good move on the NFL's part to take player safety out front and not put any of their stars at risk. At the end of the day, stars are what drive this league. Whether it's the NFL, the Shield, the individual teams, stars make this league. And I thought that was a good decision both for the players' health as well as the overall health of the league. Now, the big news this week that's very interesting to me is that with a whole ton of money left on the table, Le'Veon Bell decided not to report to the Steelers. And it's one thing to have a whole lot of animosity, and clearly that's a situation that this is going on in, but foregoing all of that franchise tag money, $14.5 million, to get nothing out of this season. Not a season accrued, not those paydays. Just getting a year older is also a concern. Very interesting business decision on his part. And clearly, the Steelers don't seem to be too concerned. Mike Tomlin had a pretty flippant answer there when he didn't report. The players are evidently raiding lockers and whatnot. And I think that's a very interesting commentary on how he is with his peers and with his teammates. I think that might make a little bit of a complication as he goes forward and tries to find another team. There's a lot of suitors out there, a lot of rumors floating around already about teams like the Jets and the Raiders and teams that could really use a spark. we'll see how that shakes out, because there's a heavy price tag and there's a serious component about chemistry and how he could fit into a locker room, especially if you're a team that's already rebuilding. So that's this week's update. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll have more probably every week, every other week, especially when big news comes out. So I appreciate your time watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit that thumbs up, and I'll talk to you next time.